My sister is severely autistic. She requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She is nonverbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite the fact that she is only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her. That should be wrong to say, but it doesn't feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then I've never solely had my parents' attention. Even since I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed a Mac my school gave me, I was in the wrong. Along with this, I am expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with friend because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. Even when I do somehow get time to myself, I am required to leave if they need me. If I do not, then I am punished. The recent example of this is when I went to see the new Spider-Man movie and was grounded because I turned my phone off in the theater. It seems as if I am nothing more than a slave to them, and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited, and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they are too busy with her. I've held this in for so long, and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well so when they're gone I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to break down. I cried and screamed about how it's always about her. I'm nothing more than a caretaker to them, that they always make it about her, and that I'm expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I've locked myself in my room since then, and my parents have not come to check on me. Am I the idiot here? I feel so bad for you. Your parents need to plan for your sister. She isn't your responsibility. They also need current qualified caretaking and whatever aid that they can get. A kid is supposed to be growing up. It sounds like they lean on you too much. Some is fine, but not a lot. Not the idiot. This legitimately terrifies me. I'm so worried I'll have a kid like this and it'll ruin my life. I know that probably seems offensive, but I just don't think I could cope with what you've described. Your sister is still young, and hopefully when she's older she'll calm down, or your parents can find resources to help deal with her behavior. I'm so sorry you've had to go through that. That's a really challenging childhood. I can't even imagine how strong of a person you must be for going through that. Everyone sucks here. First of all, let me say that I'm the father of a non-verbal autistic girl that, as of yet, cannot take care of herself. While mine is only 6 yet, we are facing the same situation your parents are. Now, first of all, your parents are idiots because of the way they've expected you to be a caretaker for your sister. That is absolutely not fair to you. While, obviously, she will require more care and attention her entire life, it is equally your parents' job to ensure you're well cared for and that they have a plan for your sister once they're gone, and that plan is not let the sibling care for her. Now, and here's where my opinion seems to deviate from the crowd here, you're the idiot for blaming the situation on your sister. She was born this way, and trust me, your parents would have turned the dial from severe autism to normal if such a dial had existed. They're scared, they're dealing, or not dealing, with something they don't understand, and they are inappropriately leaning on you for help. Your sister isn't, your parents are. Learn to understand your sister, or at least come to accept that she can't be understood, and while you will likely never be friends, or possibly even close, you may just come to forgive her for your parents' bad behavior. Not the idiot. These are perfectly legitimate and understandable feelings. You have done nothing to sign up for taking care of another human being. It's not like she's your kid, and that was wrong of your dad to joke about, because it sounds like he probably is really thinking along those lines. Be honest with your parents about how you feel, make clear that it's insane, that you're expected to be a full-time babysitter, grounded for no phone in a theater. That's bullshit. My brother Jake, 18, and I, 17, had the same dream college, H University. Also, in case you're confused by the ages, we're 1.5 years apart, but I skipped a grade, so we were in the same grade for nearly our entire life. Jake was way more passionate about H University than I was. He had several H merch clothing and kind of just assumed he was going there. For example, in conversations he'd say things like, "Once I'm at H," or "After I go to H, my plan is." Basically, his life plan rested on him going to H. Jake and I got along pretty well, we'd sometimes give each other advice or study together. However, during college app season, he got super competitive once he realized I was also applying to H. He'd refuse to study together, look over each other's essays, and he'd constantly tell me to not even bother applying. Then, decisions came out, and we opened them at the same time. I was accepted, and he was rejected. Jake had a massive panic attack, and instead of celebrating my acceptance with my family, I sat in my room all day because Jake would get furious when he saw me. I once even caught him trying to unlock my laptop to decline my offer, since his friend texted me to warn that he had been talking about doing that. My parents obviously punished him for that, which made it so much worse. When my H sweatshirt came in, he screamed at me for showing off when I just put it in my closet. He told so many people that I only got in because I was a girl and that H mixed the siblings up. Honestly, I felt bad for him because I would be crushed too if I were him. Every time I tried to get him to stop, it got worse. So I just kept tolerating it. I thought it'd get better after the summer, once college actually started. It is not. Now it's really set in that he is going to a, good in my opinion, state school, and not H. His anger is largely compounded by the fact that he's going to the same college that he used to condescend other students about aiming for. My classes start soon, so I've been setting up in our study, which I share with Jake. Both of our rooms are tiny, with no room to study in, so we share a study with 2 desks that face away from each other. Jake cleared out my whole desk and broke my lamp in the process. He says that I need to study in my room so he can use the study without distractions for his classes. We've always both worn headphones, there's literally no distraction. He just doesn't want to see me taking classes at H. I'm so done, I just want to be proud that I got into this college and actually learned shit without my brother screaming at me about it. Where I am being the idiot. We got into an argument and I told him that of course he got rejected since H didn't take toddlers. I've also been wearing my H sweatshirt around the house constantly, which he gets angry about. He kept bothering me, so I superglued H rejection letters in the drawers of his desk so he has to see them when he opens them. I am torn between not the idiot and everyone sucks here. Indeed, your brother is behaving like an entitled brat and his attitude sounds exhausting, but you had ended on top and perhaps could have avoided wearing the merch around the house. My question is, what the hell are your parents? They should be the ones coaching your brother on how to accept this setback and focus on the future instead of being a brat. Not the idiot. Well, your response wasn't the most mature, hilarious though, there's only so much a person can take. Your parents need to step in here and deal with their toddler tantrum throwing son, because it's not your fault he didn't get into his dream college. The way he's treating you is unacceptable, and the fact that he tried to decline your offer makes him a complete They need to do something about him. Not the idiot. Your brother is hitting obsessive levels of jealousy. Trying to decline your offer letter. What a horrible thing to even think of. He deserves the rejection letters in the drawers, lol, that's hilarious, even though it was a little mean, he did ask for it. At this point, your parents really need to step in and tell him to calm down already. You didn't do anything to affect his college acceptance. You don't deserve any jealousy, it's 100% not your fault, and he is having an unhinged level of aggression towards you over it. It's not okay. After reading what you did, everyone sucks here. This is escalating. Where are your parents in all this? For college-bound kids, you both need to grow up. I, 19, have an estranged grandpa more or less. He's my dad's father, but my dad hardly had a relationship with him. I have 2 other siblings, one younger, 13, and one older, 26. My grandma divorced my grandpa when my dad was only 10, so he lived with my grandma his whole life in a different state and didn't see him. When he got older he saw him a little more, and my grandpa started coming around a little bit more as well. He'd stay for a week at a time and then go home. He was an old bitter man, to be honest. He never got remarried and lived his whole life in his coastal town with the same friends he'd had his whole life. He wasn't pleasant to be around and could hold grudges longer than anyone I've ever met. But regardless of this, he was filthy rich. He owned a successful business that he sold for $1 million. He retired after selling, but his house sits on an island, as well as the biggest piece of land on the island. So, it sold for well over $3 million. I was never close with my grandpa, but I took after his sister who is an RN, and he adores her. He always told me that he was proud to see me follow in her footsteps. He died a few months ago. Since then, my family has been torn apart. He left everything to me. He essentially liquidated all of his assets, and it ended up being close to $8 million. I was shocked. I didn't and still don't know what to do with the money, but I'm going to save it. My dad and stepmom as well as my siblings are hounding me to split the money with them. I just can't do it. My dad is an alcoholic who never said anything nice about his dad. Despite him being bitter, my grandpa actually bought my dad a $300,000 house. My dad would 100% drink away any money given to him. As far as my siblings, my brother has full financial support from my grandma as he is the favorite and he's very wasteful and ungrateful. He never talks to me and always is very mean to me when he does. My little sister is the only person I've actually considered. She's very young and that's really the only thing stopping me. Her mom is money-oriented and would take the money from her. So, I'm waiting until she turns 18 and I offered to pay for her college. But now my family is telling me I'm unfair and the money doesn't belong to me and I'm not deserving of it. That I'm too young and I'll waste it on cars and clothes. I don't agree, and now they're all threatening to cut me off and never speak to me or even sue me if I don't give them all a chunk of the money. I don't know what to do and I'm buckling under pressure here. I've already had 2 police officers out to my house because my dad is claiming I stole the money from him. Everything was through an attorney. I know I did nothing wrong legally, but morally, I don't know. So, am I the idiot? Your mean old granddad has played one final trick on his family. No matter how much of your money you give them, and be clear, it is your money now, not your granddad's or the family's, they will still feel you have conned them. Lawyer up and prepare never to speak to them again. Sorry, and good luck. Not the idiot obviously. You're the idiot. Your grandfather was by all accounts a complete idiot. So now, you're claiming you're not the idiot because you're doing as he wishes. Split it with your siblings and other grandchildren. Let his selfish favoritism die with him, don't extend that legacy. If you're absolutely convinced your family is worthless and will squander everything, put a large sum into a trust that pays out $1,250 a month to each of your siblings and parents. This is the federal tax-free gift maximum and will set them up to never be unable to afford food and rent so, as long as they do the bare minimum of work. Edit. This could be set up in a way that they receive $15K a year for life. They won't be rich, but they'll never be homeless or hungry. You've been granted a gift that could allow you to take care of the people who matter most to you, and you're being very selfish about it. Not the idiot. You do not owe them any money. Just because they are blood doesn't mean they are family. If you want to help your little sibling, put it in a trust that only she can touch at a certain age. And pay for her schooling directly just in case her greedy mom or dad try to touch it or talk her into giving it to them. Invest wisely and be happy. Your grandpa might be an old grumpy man, but he saw something in you. Not the idiot. My God, these entitled people. If they want to cut you off for money that your grandpa willed to you, show them the door. Buy yourself a lovely home and move away from them, pay for your sister's college, and save the rest. For context, even when I, 44, was a child, I was incredibly into owning property and designing houses. I work as an architect and am doing quite well for myself. Bought my first duplex here in Germany a long time ago, where I rent out both part. Then I own 2 houses in Italy and 1 in Spain. 2 of them are get rented out as holiday homes, while the last one I use for vacations and rent out a room to a friend of mine. So I have a lot of passive income at the moment, but only after a lot of time and money investments and refurbishing of these houses. I rent in NYC at the moment as my job has made me move here temporarily. My brother, 48, does an apartment. He has a family with 2 kids while my wife and I are childless. They are currently looking to purchase a house that fits all of them nicely. While they have found their dream house, it's out of budget for them. Meanwhile, my wife and I are about to buy our 5th house, this time in France. It's going to be one of our largest purchases yet, significantly larger than anything else we have done. It's a great deal on the property however, and ideally what my wife and I want to retire in. When having a family FaceTime with my siblings and parents, I brought it up. Initially very happy for me, my brother mentioned how he needs a larger home for his family and how I should give up on this opportunity to give him money for his house and spend the rest on refurbishing their new home. I thought this was a joke, so just laughed and said flat out no. This was apparently the wrong move. My entire family turns against me and starts berating me. After 10 minutes of them taking turns telling me to buy my brother a house, I said I'd think about it and left. I am a bit of a pushover, so after talking to my wife we agreed we could wait and buy their house and rent it out to them at no profit. Apparently this was insulting to him, having his younger brother be his landlord, and my parents said I should just outright give him the money we have been saving. I told them to piss off and started moving forward with the paperwork on our house in France. After talking to my friends, they said I should put family first, and it's not like we are struggling for money. Now I am confused, am I the idiot? Everyone sucks here. Your brother is out of order, but I am not a supporter of having more than one property, especially since you're saying they might be mostly empty throughout the year, maybe only have people in there during the season etc. It just fuels the rich-poor divide, so I can't support that. People are searching for their first home and can't buy it because people like you have 5 and rent them out on Airbnb or similar. That being said, renting to him for free for a year or 2 would have really helped their finances and they should have taken up a good offer you provided them with. They feel just as entitled as you do. Not the idiot. You shouldn't have to pay for your brother's house. He should live within his means. Besides, money between family members can be a more dividing issue than most. You're the idiot. I don't think you are necessarily an idiot to your brother, but you're definitely an idiot for messing with economies of countries you don't even live in by buying up properties then either leaving them empty or renting them out as vacation houses, Airbnb, almost certainly, therefore taking up needed space and pricing out locals. Having lived in both Europe and America, the not the idiots you're getting are from Americans, mostly, who see this level of greed as morally neutral at worst. Nobody should own 5 houses. Not the idiot, at all. For what it's worth, I'm your brother in my life. I have 2 kids in an apartment and just can't afford to purchase what we need right now. My sister-in-law just bought her 3rd home, and I'll admit there's always twinges of jealousy and the fleeting thought that it'd be nice if she'd help us out. But that's just me being a brat. Obviously I'm not entitled to someone else's money.